May kembot ako. Napanood ko yung Sisa, a film starring the beautiful Hilda Coronel. The title hints at the madness of the classic literary figure of Rizal's novel, pero hindi sila connected. My name is Mona Magda Vilus. I hunt down ancestors and chase fascinating stories in Philippine history. I also watch a lot of history-inspired movies. If you do not want to hear any spoilers, scroll away now. The film Sisa is written, co-produced, and directed by June Robles Lana, a Palanca Awards Hall of Famer. I was so engrossed in this film. Ang ganda ng storya at ng script. Ang galing din ng cinematography nitong pelikulang ito. This is a work of fiction, but it portrays Filipino life at the cusp of the end of the Philippine-American War circa 1902. According to the writer, the movie was inspired by the abuses of the Americans in Samar, but it could have happened anywhere in the Philippines. I have done a lot of research around this era. All the records of Filipino revolutionaries and guerrillas from this period, military records, correspondence, were collectively called the Philippine Insurgent Records. The originals are housed at the National Library of the Philippines, but the digitized versions are still stored in the U.S. National Archives and Records Administration under that very imperialist name. Before the Americans implemented their benevolent assimilation policy, many generals had a scorched earth approach to force civilian obedience. In 1902, the American military government issued the Bandolero Law, meant to suppress, criminalize, and penalize Filipino guerrillas and resistance fighters. General Franklin Bell instituted a brutal reconcentration policy in Batangas from 1901 to 1902. Forcing civilians into these camps ensured they would not help rebels by providing food or shelter. Pero they could also not plant their own food, and they were dependent on what the American soldiers gave them to eat. The situation in Batangas became so dire that the people suffering broke the resistance of General Miguel Malvar, a native of the province. Kaya siya sumuko kasi gusto niyang matapos ang paghihirap ng mga kaprobinsya niya. In the film Sisa, Hilda Coronel's character was a stranger to the camp. She claimed to have lost her memories and was given the name Sisa by the other women. She was stoic and they assumed she was crazy, but hers was an intense, despair-driven rage of a woman whose entire family was slain by the Americans. Ang galing ng acting niya. Babaeng nagpipigil ang peg. Special mention din si Eugene Domingo as Delia, the jaded mother, Jenica Garcia as Leonor, the hospitable widow, and Angelis Sanoy as Nena, the hopeful teenager. The entire ensemble delivered a powerful commentary on wartime trauma. The film ended in a powerful, expertly shot scene na mala Red Wedding, where the lines between treason and patriotism were blurred. Iba ang kirot kapag ang pagtatraidor ay galing sa mga taong akala mo ay kakampi. Ang galing ng movie kasi kadalasan, movies on war focus on male-dominated narratives. Sisa highlighted the silent and brutal power of women to resist. The human cost of war is not just the loss of the lives of combatants, but it also includes the anguish of those who are left behind, usually women and children. Watching this during Women's Month was a powerful experience. I am reminded of an old Greek tragedy we studied in high school called The Women of Troy, which focused on the aftermath of the Trojan War and how royal women mourned for their dead as they waited to be sold into slavery. Parang ganun yung bigat nitong pelikula. The victims of war, whether in the time of Euripides, the 1900s, or 2026, suffer the same shattered security. Women carry the heavy burden of survival and stolen peace, often masking their own trauma to protect others. This film reminds us to look for leaders who will fight for sovereignty, for peace, more fiercely than they would fight for the sake of fighting. O, diba?
Meow meow.